Hi, everybody. Can you hear me in Porto? Yes. Okay, I see a heads up. So, welcome everybody to this hangout. Today we have great news. So, we'll have a sneak peek into our 2024 Startup and Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Report, along in partnership with IDC and Informa Dun& Bradstreet. So today we'll dive into the numbers of our ecosystem, some a few numbers of the report, and we'll discuss later what this news can bring to our ecosystem. As you know, also the Web Summit is around the corner, and we want to invite you all to stop by our stand, which is in the Pavilion 1, stand E140, and where you can know everything about the Portuguese and the Lisboa ecosystem, know about all the opportunities, initiatives, and entities that can help you thrive in the ecosystem. Another side note that I wanted to give is that we'll have a lot of side events during the week of the Web Summit, and the first ones will be in the 11th, so on Monday, and we'll have a big welcome session to all the international delegations and some innovation tracks where you can get to know some specialized hubs here in Lisbon, fintech, green tech, gaming, and much more. So if you want to know everything about what will happen during the Web Summit week, you can sign in to signupforportugal.com and know all the information about our presence during the Web Summit. Also, in this week and happening in Porto, we have the Porto Tech 2024 initiative, which is in full swing, with over 30 tech events from September to November. Also, this week, we'll bring Sword AI Summit, an AI conference where Sword Health will explore the latest innovations in their potential impact across industries and the society. So if you want to know more, stay tuned to this event. And now I'm pleased to introduce our panel. In Porto, we'll have Adriana Costa, Executive Director at UA Incubator, and Gabriel Coimbra, Group Vice President and Country Manager at IDC. And here in Lisboa, we'll have Miguel Clemente, CEO at Neutral, and also João Silva, which is our Head of Data and Tech and Public Policies at Startup Portugal, who will be moderating this conversation. And now, to start with the pitch session, I will welcome João Moreira Pires, who will introduce our startups for today. So welcome, everybody, and have a great time.
Thank you, Patricia. Hi, everyone. Hi, Madalena in Porto. My voice is not great, so if it goes just down the hill, I will hand it over for Madalena. My name is João Pires, and I'm your host for this evening's Above and Beyond Hangout. How are things in Porto, Madalena?
Hello, João. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Did you catch a flu?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so here we have a really, really full house. Everyone is ready for another amazing hangout. So we'll start with the pitches. So I would call to the stage Raquel Magalhães, co-founder and COO of Connected.
Applause.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. My name is Raquel Magalhães. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Connected. And let me start with a simple question. Do you know the portion of our planet that is considered remote? That's it, 80%. 80% of our entire Earth surface is considered disconnected, remote, providing not even the basic access to connectivity. And the only way to communicate is using satellites in space. On top of that, the rapid proliferation of IoT devices has driven to a growing need for seamless connectivity. However, current solutions are still complex and expensive, especially for low power and low data demand. For you to have an idea, costs can reach up to 150 euros per ground device, plus a subscription fee that can go up to 60 euros per month. Not to forget the unsustainability of space, with single-purpose satellites being launched every year. Okay, here is where Connected steps in. We are developing the world's first IoT connectivity service, fully integrated onboard third-party satellites. Okay, let me explain you how. Our core differentiator is connected IoT gateway that, as I was saying, goes aboard third-party satellites in a rideshare approach, offering a unique value proposition, combining in situ with Earth observation data on the same platform. A future-proof technology that supports both LoRa devices and 5G narrowband IoT standards. Our approach reduces costs by up to 20 times, which is cost-effective, scalable, and sustainable. A unique B2B business models, we target two types of clients. One, Earth observation operators, and second, mobile network operators. And the market is there. It's expected to worth 5 billion euros by 2030. And of course, Connected aims to capture a share, offering multiple solutions from smart agriculture to secure communications with a competitive price of 5 euros per month per device. And this is not just a concept, a PowerPoint presentation we are delivering. Our IoT payload will fly next year together with OpenCosmos, and we also have partnered with NOS, the largest Portuguese mobile network operator. We aim to deploy a pilot network of 16 assets in space by 2027, scaling up to 100 assets by 2030. And none of this, of course, will be possible without an amazing team behind, composed by 17 experts, some of them with more than 50 years of experience. And us as a co-founders, Tiago, myself, and Andre, we have the knowledge and the expertise to build this endeavor. We have raised so far 2 million in a pre-seed round and around 3 million between easy contracts and non-diluted funds. And that's all. I would love to discuss the benefits of unlocking affordable, standard, and sustainable IoT connectivity from space. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Raquel. Now, please welcome for our first pitch here in Lisbon, Roger Jr., founder of the Queer Spot.
Let's go. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Roger, and you can see here in this picture, that's me and my husband, and we moved to Portugal 2 years ago. And back then, we have no friends, no family here. I'm sure like many of you might be immigrants here as well, so you know how difficult it is to adapt and to fit into a new country and like try to find your tribe. So here you can see me try to find my Brazilian tribe eating a pastel. But it is hard to adapt to a new city as an immigrant, but can you guys imagine how harder it is if you are a queer person, for example, a gay person? Sometimes when you are fearing for your own safety. Thankfully, Portugal is a fairly safe country, but that's definitely not the case everywhere. And we see that the LGBTQ market is definitely not receiving the attention that it should. And you might be wondering, how big is the LGBTQ market? And imagine if we put every single LGBTQ person in the world in a single country, that would be the third largest economy in the entire world. And somehow we are still often overlooked. So that's when I decided enough, and I decided to create the Queer Spot, the first LGBTQ tech in Portugal. And it's an app that allows you to find events and venues for the LGBTQ community. It's the app that I wish someone had made 2 years ago when I just came here and didn't know where to go. And the problem we're solving is that we have a lack of safe spaces to go. We have a lack of an easy way to find those places. And especially we see a tendency of an inability of the brands and companies to talk with the audience. And the way we solve that is by creating a unique and user-friendly platform that has special filters for the community, which are the tribes, and not even the competitors in the sector are doing anything like that. And also, we have a very special AI-powered curator that basically finds all the events that are happening in the queer community in social media and websites and puts everything to the platform. So you don't have to be looking everywhere to find that. It's a completely automated process that also makes us very scalable to expand to other countries as well. We are already creating a great community here in Portugal. We have more than 1,500 registered users, and you can see other metrics here as well. And our current revenue model is through our ticket platform. So currently you can buy tickets in the platform and we receive a small commission over every ticket sale. But the thing is that we are creating here a community and we are really targeting the LGBTQ market. So the possibility of monetization in this market, in the audience, is really uncountable. And we have many other plans to come for the next years. For the countries that we want to expand, the 5 main markets, which are Brazil, US, Portugal, Spain, UK, and Germany. We have more than 4,000 venues mapped and 30,000 events that are happening per year, which is a revenue of 4.5 million euros per year just for the ticket commissions alone, not counting to the other monetization strategies that we have. So that's the Queer Spot. I hope that we can transform the LGBTQ market together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roger, especially due to all the technical issues. Next up, we have the last startup speaking, which will be here in Porto. So welcome to the stage, Javier Ramírez, CEO and founder of CIDIS.
So hello everyone. Today I'm here to talk about CIDIS data platform. So as we know, data really drives everything we do. And the problem is that many companies are not able to take advantage of all the data they have. Today, in fact, data is not part of the business, it's the actual business. And that's why we created CIDIS. CIDIS is a data platform that unify, enrich, and activate your data. I like to say that if data is a business, CIDIS is the solution. And how does it work? Well, with data connectors and data storage, we are able to store all the data and from any different sources. Then with data transformer, we can use AI-powered insights to enrich data. And then with the data activator, we can use the data in various applications such as CRM, CDP, BI reports, among others. Since 2019, the foundation, we've had 3.2 euros in revenue, 600K current ARR, and our tool is so powerful that at the moment we've processed 50 billion data from 1,500 different data sources. And at the moment, we have 25 million end customer records, individual clients, and 80 million daily transactions per day in one day. And now let's talk about our growth strategy. We work as a service, software as a service in a B2B vision. And we work with sales partners and integration partners in order to focus more on the product itself. For 2028, we have projected 80 million euros in revenue for more than 400 customers and 100 partners. And this is possible because we work in a really, really big market, the big data market. Today, in 2024, it is valued in $7.5 billion, and it's projected that in 2028 is valued in $23 billion, with a growth rate of 40%. And now we're gonna meet our team. CIDIS is a multicultural company that has its headquarters here in Portugal, and we have people from everywhere: Portugal, Switzerland, Spain, United States, South America, and we have experience in a lot of areas such as R&D, DevOps, finance, etc., which provides a collaborative and innovative environment. And also, we have members that have experience in some of the biggest companies in the world, such as Ford, Nokia, Swisscom, Vodafone, Shopify, Ericsson, Migros, and UPS. Now we are seeking for 2.4 million in euros in investment for 20% equity to improve our key areas and to keep escalating and improving. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javier. So just a special note, these 3 startups are a part of the Road to Web Summit, which selects the 125 the most promising young startups from Portugal that will be representing our country at Web Summit. And next up, we will have a special treat for you. So please welcome Gabriel Coimbra, Group Vice President and Country Manager at IDC. You'll have an exclusive peek into the Mapping Portugal Startup Landscape Report by Startup Portugal, InformaDB, and IDC. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I need it. Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay. No, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure being here to share our research with you. And we'll be just sharing with you a sneak peek of the report we are going to present in Web Summit in a few days. And this report, we have been doing it for 4 years, and congratulations to Startup Portugal to build this research along these 4 years, because we were able to understand really the startup ecosystem in Portugal, and not only to understand our ecosystems, but compare with other ecosystems and to understand what we need to do to improve the ecosystems, to have a better place for the startups to start their business and to scale up. So today, before the panel, before the discussion we'll have with Startup Portugal, I will just give you some highlights, not too much, because we need to have something new to present in the Web Summit. So what I bring here is something new that we started last year, because as you know, we have a new legislation that defines what is a startup. So basically, you have to have this. You have to have this size, so less than 250 works, less than 50 million euros, less than 10 years, and you also need to have one of these other conditions. So, or it's a company with all these conditions in your left side, but need to be recognized by ANI, Agência Nacional de Inovação, who can certify you that you are investing in R&D, or you have already raised some capital, or you received some investment from Banco de Fomento in Portugal, or you have some specific activity related to R&D, so your company is registered as a specific area or a specific sector that is related to R&D, and or you have some IP, some patents registered in Portugal. So that's the conditions, and with these conditions, you have a lot of benefits to build your startup in Portugal. And with these definitions, we went and looked to the market and tried to count how many startups we have in Portugal, and how is our ecosystem today, how it's growing, and how it's compared with other hubs, especially emerging hubs around the world. And what we got was this. So we have almost 5,000 companies, so 4,700 companies that are startups, or can be defined as a startup, is based on the criteria I showed before. So they generate around 2.6 thousand million euros, and have around 26,000 employees. They represent around 0.7% of the total employees in Portugal. But the really interesting numbers is here. So we see that they represent more than the double of the exports of traditional companies. So we see that really startups are really creating value, creating exports in Portugal, and also the average monthly wage is higher than the average. So I think it's interesting picture for our market in Portugal, and here what we have, and that's what I can show because I wanted to show more details about how we are comparing with other hubs, how our ecosystem is composed in terms of gender, in terms of key sectors, in terms how the companies are distributed by the key cities in Portugal. And all this information will be presented in Web Summit. And all this information will be available online for you to have access and to understand how is the ecosystem. And basically this is the information that is used by Startup Portugal and other institutions to understand the ecosystem and to build some policies and new programs to support the ecosystems and to make sure that we can grow and we can really have conditions to be competitive comparing to other hubs. But this is really interesting if we look the evolution of the number of startups, and we here have two um, two numbers that are important to understand the exits. So the number of companies that went bankruptcy, some of them goes, but also the number of companies that have more than 10 years or reach more than 50 million in revenues. So they exit the startup market. And then we have the new entries, so new companies. And what we can see is that we are growing, and we are growing. And that's the message I want to give to you to all of you, and hope to have you in Web Summit, or if not, at least you can download the report online after we present. So with this, thank you very much. Thank you, Startup Portugal, for investing in this research, and now giving back the word to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gabriel. That was super insightful. Now for our discussion of the day. Please welcome to the stage here in Lisbon, Miguel Clemente, CEO of Neutral, and our very own and unique head of data and public policies, the very own João Silva. Madalena, who's up there?
Oi? Okay, so here, let's welcome to the stage Adriana Costa, Executive Director at UI Incubator, and again, our Gabriel Coimbra. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello? Hello, hearing me?
Hello, João.
Hello.
Are you hearing us?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you very much, Gabriel. Thank you very much, Adriana and Miguel. It's okay? Thank you for being here today. I'll start with Gabriel, since you made this amazing presentation. It's always great for us to have data, for us to be possible to provide better information and better public policies for the ecosystem. We use this report year by year to understand what the ecosystem needs and what can we provide to the public entities and even investors that approach us to understand better our ecosystem. We use this to show what we are doing in terms of an ecosystem. This is our fourth edition, Gabriel, I believe.
Yes,
We are not having feedback. I didn't hear you because we are not having your sound. I don't know why, but this is our fourth edition. I want to understand. This is growing year by year. I'm very proud of the report we are going to present next week. But I would like to ask you, what is your vision on this, since you are seeing this grow year by year? What is the importance of mapping this with Startup Portugal?
No, thank you, João, for the question. No, No, I think it's very interesting to see this growth. So what we saw before we started this project was that Portugal had a big leap in the past, I would say 8 or 10 years ago. So we had a big leap, and then we I would say 3, 4, 5 years ago we stagnated a bit. So we had this jump, and we were positioned as a emerging hub. Then we lose a little bit of traction. But we saw in the past 2 years that the number of companies are increasing. They are creating value, and comparing with other ecosystems, we have work to do. And I think that's the objective of this report, is to understand what we need to do, and that there are a lot of things that we need to do, and that's the important point to make now. But it's good, a good sign that the companies the number of companies are growing, and not only Portuguese entrepreneurs, but also people coming to Portugal from other countries, building their business in Portugal. So I think it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Thank you. I'll go into here to my colleague. We are a bit of the geeks of the data. But I would we probably have favorite things of this report. But I was trying to, since I have here a startup and in Porto, the incubator, what do you think about, what is the most important thing you look for in this type of report? For your own perspective, for your startup or an incubator, what is the most important thing that you take through that?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how the ecosystem is growing and how we can establish it as an ecosystem. And I was looking at the numbers presented, and we can see that like 57% of turnover from startups is exportation. And so I think that it's really important as a startup we can compare ourselves with the trends, see how we are faring. I just saw that the average number of employees is 6. We are at 4, so we are still short of the average, but not too short, which I thought it would be actually higher. And
Six is the average number, and 8 in normal companies.
In normal companies, yeah. So obviously, that's that gap there.
Normal companies.
Yeah. No, but for us, it's interesting to see how the ecosystem is growing, and to understand what could be the pains of the ecosystem.
Okay, thank you, Adriana. In terms of the incubators, the report will have a capital chapter. Thank you very much. A chapter regarding incubators, but but only in the 6th of November. But regarding these already shown numbers, what do you take for incubators?
I think it's important. This information is about startups in Portugal, okay, and the activity of startups. The incubators don't have only startups in their incubators, okay? So the data for the incubators is very important to be able to manage and to compare with other incubators and to compare with the global ecosystem in Portugal and not only in Portugal. But for us to have an idea, maybe no, we have around 140 incubators in Portugal that are part of our network, 5,000 companies, but around 2,000 startups, maybe. I'm waiting for the report. So we can see that the data that we have from startups in Portugal is one. The data that we have in the incubators is another, okay? So we can say that more or less like 40% of the startups are in the incubators, the others are around Portugal. So this is some data that we can take from these reports. But the data itself, it's important for the incubators. So we need to have data to be able to manage, okay, to be able to compare ourselves with other incubators, and also to use this data to do impact reports. Okay, so the activity we do in the incubators, we help startups to become startups. We help companies to become startups. And we need this data to give value to the activity that we do. Not only economic value, we know the economic value the startups bring to our company, but also the social impact of their activities. We have many different incubators in Portugal. One are technological that have startups, other are municipalities, some are big, some are slow, some are lower. So the impact of the incubators is very important, okay? We don't only help startups, but we also promote entrepreneurship, okay? There are many of our incubators that work for entrepreneurs, work for society, that want to improve the society and entrepreneurship in their communities. So they don't have startups, they don't talk about rounds, about funding, okay? They talk about entrepreneurship in another way, but that's also very important for our ecosystem, for the regions, and also to say that this data is also important for Startup Portugal, for government, to see the policies that will be applied in Portugal and the knowledge that we can give to some incubators. So many things and many activities or attitudes will come from the data that we will analyze.
Thank you very much. The thing is, like, we are also at Startup Portugal, we have the National Incubator Network. Aaron, you are part of it. And one of the things we are actually doing there is actually making it more data-driven and this support to the incubators, that, to the incubators as a whole. Is this report will also show that part, what can we take from the incubators data to present about this part, the supporting part of the ecosystem. The incubators are needed. Everyone is to help startups grow and other projects as it. And this data-driven is important also for us to have in mind and to put you. To use this for your own good. This was actually because I was going to ask you regarding that, but come back up to my question on the beginning is like, so in this small batch of informations, of what do you put as the most important finding at the moment?
The number of startups,
okay? The
number of startups. So the increase of startups, the number of startups, because it's something that we, like incubators, we are telling our startups to get the recognition, okay? We are starting that process, okay? So the numbers are increasing, but we want to have the final numbers of the startups that we have in Portugal.
Thank you very much.
João, if I can add a note regarding the numbers, what is interesting, in fact, the average number of employees is less than, in startups, it's less than the normal company in Portugal, but it means that they are more productive and they export much more than traditional companies. So I think it's a very good indicator that these kind of companies are companies that can create a lot of value. Of course, there are the other side that we want to create a lot of employment, but the fact is that we are creating a lot of value. I think this is really, really interesting. And we have other information that will be released soon regarding what are the sectors and what are the key players in the ecosystem. So we have not only the numbers, but we have the name of the companies that are the companies and the organizations and the incubators and the universities and the VCs and others. So we have the name of them in this report. So it will be helpful for every startup to look for.
Yes. That actually is my answer to my own question is the number of tech exportation. It's very it shows that this area is looking to export from the beginning. Usually the companies we create in Portugal are looking for our country in the small area. These companies look mostly to abroad. So I'd like to, I have here a startup. So do you have this mindset of from the start to look abroad, or is something that it grows by the year or by the work?
I think it's in our DNA as entrepreneurs in the tech world, and everywhere I've been through the entrepreneurial programs I've done, there's always this global ambition. So yeah, obviously we are starting in Portugal, but we all know it's a small market.
Yes, just one thing,
Yeah.
just one point, because maybe some of people doesn't know exactly what you do at your startup, though.
Yeah.
So a small pitch.
Small pitch. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Neutral, and we are doing water and energy monitoring in hospitality sector to evaluate impact of hotels, be transparent in that communication to their guests, and gamify guest experience on sustainability. So we are helping hotels be more sustainable and also have guests becoming more sustainable. So yes, for us it's quite a little bit different. We look at Portugal, and travel and hospitality sector is one of the biggest shares of GDP, with the goal of achieving a quarter of the GDP, and we have all of these other sectors pulling away from that. And I've been looking at the next year's state budget and the discussion around it, and I've seen a lot of political parties saying that perhaps we should shift the focus out of tourism and try to have other industries. And I hope that startups show that that's the wrong way. We should leverage what we know about travel and hospitality, push forward with this entrepreneurial mindset and development of tech startups to build a catalyst and an economic engine where we can prove the concept of the startups in travel and hospitality, and then export that knowledge to other countries. This will in time mitigate the risk of being dependent to travel and hospitality. It will fortify other markets, obviously, but it will be at the expenses of our startups developed in Portugal and born in Portugal. So yeah, I think it's in our DNA to be to think globally from the start. And I actually have people said to me that if you can succeed in Portugal, you can succeed anywhere. And I think that's a key lesson from entrepreneurial programs. Think globally, and it's something that mentors and the ecosystem is telling other new entrepreneurs to think.
Okay, good. No, we have to ask Frank Sinatra to change the song, or make a song for us. Well, these 4,719 companies that could be seen as a startup. Actually, I want to do just a note here, because we have the recognition for startups. There's the legal definition for startups in the law that was from the last year, when we are doing the recognition for startups to have access to special regimes in stock options, in IRS. It's another thing specifically for the government. And at the moment we have 170 startups recognized. So we have a long way to go to the 4,000. So this is a projection of what the amount of companies that could be seen as a startup in Portugal right now. But so it's a thing of communication now to get this recognized. But the most important part is here. This 4,700 companies represent around a bit more than 1% of the GDP. And in terms of exportations, they represent 1.4%. So these are new companies, so normal SMBs companies, that represent more to the exportations than the usual companies that we see. So that's an interesting thing to see, that this could be the motor of our country to grow, and we expect that for it. Other important thing here is the average monthly wage. So I'm going to ask you what do you think of this data, because usually we have been talking a lot in the press in the last months of the we have a low wage economy, and this is almost 75%, 72% the average of normal companies. Do you see that this is a good average? What do you think about the ecosystem regarding the wages?
Actually, when I saw that that statistics, I was impressed because I thought it would be lower, the average value. Yeah, I'm not sure what the how we can see this, but obviously, if we are building tech companies that are pushing on emerging technologies, pushing the boundaries of science, yeah, we have to have the best talent possible, and to retain that talent in Portugal or to bring that talent from abroad, we have to pay them very well and above the rest of the market. And there's a lot of competition in hiring tech young talent. We have to train the talent from the start.
So this makes the wage go up?
Makes the wage go up. And
so you think it's lower than you expected?
No, I think it would be lower, but I'm not surprised that it's higher. And so, obviously, when you have companies that are being heavily funded, when they can be heavily funded, obviously you have to bring in the best talent possible, and you have to pay to have that talent. So I think it's a number. I don't think it will move up. It will move up according with the country, but it will always stay bigger than the rest of the average.
Last year, this average month was 1.7, so 1,700 euros. So more 300 euros.
Probably inflation.
Okay. So back to Porto. What do you think on this? What's your point of view?
Yes, I think that the salaries are higher in startups. I think, like you said, we need to have the best human resources, okay, to keep on growing the companies. And when the companies are invested and when they have the money, they need to keep those human resources. They are the source of the technology that is being done inside the startup. So also in our incubators, we realize that the salaries are completely different than they were 3-4 years ago, and we need to keep those human resources in the companies. That's why the amount of the salaries.
Yeah, if I can add, yeah, the fact is that most of the startups are around tech, the tech sector or related to technology. Even if outside tech, or in health or other areas, they have some tech and a lot of R&D around tech. So that's why the salaries is much higher than the average. So this is the wage that are registered in the social security. Yes. So probably in the startups there are a lot of people who are working on with some stock options and so on that are not counted here. But the fact that the people that are really hired are receiving much better salaries than the average.
Okay. Portugal has an objective that is in the Recovery and Resilience Plan of having 5,000 startups by 2025. So we are 300 startups short. So what do you believe we will make it?
I want to believe that we'll make. So we have some if we have some startups growing too much, it will be a problem because they will exit the target, but it will be a good problem. So that's, I think it's a number. Of course, we need to look behind the numbers. There are a lot behind the numbers, but we are really near it. So I think so. We will reach.
So there's a lot of new projects in Incubadora de Aveiro?
Not a lot of new projects. We feel that there are more foreign projects coming to Portugal compared with some years before. I think it's not only in Aveiro that we have foreign projects. I think it's normal. It's a good indicator also to see the number of foreign companies that we have nowadays in our incubators. But the number is increasing mostly because of some foreign projects.
The foreign projects, so we need to make some spin-offs of that project. So
Yes, we also have, but not as much as we had some years ago.
Okay.
Some years ago, we didn't have the foreign projects, okay? So they started arriving after Web Summit arrived. So our data is a little bit different now than 5 years before, to be compared. But yes, at least in our case, the number of spin-offs are not as good as we wanted them to be.
But you would say these data show that we are becoming more and more attractive. We are having also projects appearing, but we are attracting projects from abroad, and our policies are ready for it. So you understand that this is becoming a momentum. So you believe that this will continue to attract more projects in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe.
Miguel, are you planning to do a spin-off? Or a lot of spin-offs to help us?
I think as an entrepreneur, you have lots of ideas going on, and I definitely have some ideas going on. But right now, I'm focused on pushing, on exiting neutral from the list, and then in the future to add a couple more.
So wait a bit. No, don't exit next year. Exit the other. No, just for the purpose of data, of course. I will ask the audience if there's any question. My team here is asking that we are almost approaching on time. So do we have any question from Porto? Ella. Okay. So someone in Porto could give them a mic.
Okay, so my question will be on the startup ecosystem.
Sorry, please present yourself.
I'm Mark. I'm a co-founder of a design studio called Aniki. My question will be to Gabriel. So it's related to the Portuguese startup ecosystem. So we do know the number of startups, but what we don't know, and I think it grows largely, it's also related a bit to what I do, but I think not only it is also related to the management sector, accounting sector, and so on, is the amounts of perhaps businesses, if it's even calculatable, to know which operate in collaboration with startups, not as startups, but as businesses which serve startups in one way or another, as whether it be design, whether it be some other kind of services. It can be accounting. I think accounting is the most popular. In Estonia, there is Solo, which is very popular there, and it's basically, not sure if it's a startup or a unicorn, but it also grow largely there. And perhaps in here we might have something similar, that there is some sort of a hidden, business, maybe hundreds of businesses which serve startups as well. And if there is some way to calculate it. Thank you.
Okay, let me see if I understood your question. So you are trying to understand if we have some analysis of the sectors that are collaborating, working, buying, and supplying to the startups.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, we have in the report, we mapped the ecosystem. So we really, we defined it, if I'm not wrong, 6 or 7 pillars around the ecosystem. So we have the startups in the middle, but then we have the ecosystems in terms of, so you need to have the financing, you have the knowledge, the incubators. So we are mapping all these players, but in fact, in this report, we don't have the detailed analysis of the other sectors like consulting, accounting, that are working more with startups. So it could be something to add in the future. I think it's a good idea to try to survey the other sectors and try to understand what are the areas where they are more open to work with the startups, in order to let you understand where to reach in terms of client, in terms of partnering, in terms of good idea for next year, João.
Yeah, we'll keep that in
Thank
mind.
you.
Do we have any question here in Lisboa?
We have here two, I think two more, or three.
No in
Yeah,
Lisboa,
three
so
more.
back to
Yeah, three
Porto.
or four.
Yeah, back to Porto.
Can I go then? Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Oliveira. I am here from UPTech. So I think my question is more here to Porto, first to Gabriel, because you said there are some challenges. And this report's, the data is very useful because it points out to what we should do to improve. So I want to ask you, what are those main challenges that we should address, the most urgent ones? And then to Adriana, I want to understand this in the role of a director of an incubator, if you agree with those challenges or if you want to add another one.
It's a surprise that we went to show just next week, but I can say that we see that the other emerging hubs are really growing faster. Some of them are growing faster than ours. So and we try to understand why in this report. So there are a lot of areas where we need to improve. I would say that it's not in my personal opinion, is that we need to work on the tax incentives. I think it's an area that we need really to improve. This is my personal opinion. I don't want to to reveal the results of the report. So my personal opinion. And yours?
I think that we need to grow more like an ecosystem, okay, to make it the ecosystem more strong, okay. There are many players in the ecosystem. They will be in the report, but sometimes they don't work together as much as they should, okay. I think the companies, the SMEs in Portugal are also important in this ecosystem, okay, for startups to work with companies, for companies to invest in startups, to be partners of them, to have the production, to industrialize, there are many things that can be done in connection with companies. In my opinion, not only VCs or business angels should put the money in the companies. So I think we still have a long way to go to make these relations stronger and to make our ecosystem stronger.
Thank you.
May I go?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, my question is actually, I'm Liliana, by the way. I'm also incubated at UPTech. My question to you, Gabriel, is actually more of a follow-up into the sectors that you've been surveying. So I was wondering whether, of course, tech is a big player, never going to deny it. But in my case, which is arts and culture, yeah, what do you need? What is it? Lower? Okay, well, my sector is arts and culture, so I'm building a music agency at the moment for women and non-binary artists. Yeah, so I was just looking for your, whether you've been surveying in that area, whether you're exactly disseminating into different streams of action as well. So, yeah.
No, okay, thank you for the question. I know that, yeah, if the tech sector represents, I don't know, more than 70% of the startups, especially the B2B side, is really the strongest in Portugal. Then you have fintech that are really a big market, a sub-market in startups. I really don't remember now exactly, but we have in the report, and we are going to present, and it will be available online. We have all the sectors, so I would say that we identify around 15 sectors. So there you can check and understand better. But I don't remember now. Sorry.
Okay, but just as a follow-up, do you also have, just building on the challenges as well, do you have any directions or recommendations for each of these sectors?
So
or?
we don't have recommendations for each one of the sectors. Basically, what we have in the report, we have an overview of how the market is growing in terms of number of companies, and then to understand how these companies are growing in terms of revenue, in terms of exports, in terms of key areas. But then we don't have recommendations by area. So that's something that we don't have in this report. So eventually something that we need to add next year, some recommendations by sector. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I think we have one more there.
Hello, I'm Daniel. I just moved to Portugal, and I think I might speak for some of the fellow people here who want to have a startup. Is that a lot of entrepreneurs have a business idea, but they have no knowledge of accounting or bureaucracy. I mean, you go to university to study those things. So I wanted to ask you what are your opinions in how is Portugal doing in terms of developing these aiding in terms of, oh, I have a business idea, I know what clients I'm gonna get, I know what product I'm developing, but I don't know what forms I have to fill. I don't know if I have to go register the account. What should I go? What is
Well, we lost you.
Yeah, are you back? Okay. I just wanted to know what is Portugal doing in terms of like an analogy. If I extract the oil, I just want to, put it on a ship and get it sold. What is Portugal doing in order to help entrepreneurs in this aspect? And the second question is, how is Portugal doing, relatively speaking, to the numbers that we saw today? For example, what is our growth compared to Spain or Baltic states, which I heard they have a very successful fame for entrepreneurship ecosystem? Thank you.
I can just add 2 comments, and probably
Yeah.
the rest of the panel here and in Lisbon can comment. I think so. We have we will publish in the report the benchmark against other emerging hubs. And we have a tough competition. It's what I can say is that we have a tough competition. And regarding the other question, I agree with what you were saying, that we need more collaboration, not only from VCs that invest on startups, but we need eventually this ecosystem with lawyers, with accountants, and with other really business that, remember the first question, that can help startups with these side side operations. So that's my opinion, but in the line of what
Yes.
you were saying, probably.
I think that the incubators have a role in this aspect. Okay, so we have incubation programs, acceleration programs to work with the entrepreneurs. Okay, so the team is very important, the multidisciplinary team. Okay, so someone needs to know a little bit about management, about marketing, about these areas. Is something that if you are in an incubator, there will be also programs and knowledge events just for you to have an idea of those areas, okay? But then you will have a team and someone will take care of that procedure. But in the beginning, you need to know a little bit of everything, okay? So the ecosystem, the partners, the other startups, some small knowledge can help you with that.
Thank you. Well, if you need me to sign a government petition for entrepreneur help,
No, we can help you with that at Startup Portugal too, because one of the things we have, one big program that we have is one-stop shop. So it's designed actually to help you. And the other part is actually, that Adriana was mentioned, we have around 160 incubators in Portugal, so a lot of them, a few of them could help in the beginning. But if that's not you didn't have all the information you need, at Startup Portugal there's a part of our website called One Stop Shop. You can ask a few questions, and then we will try to help you and try to send you to the right person to help if we are not the ones with that information. I think it's a problem more regarding information on how to help the startups, because it's very personalized. Every startup has or every entrepreneur has a different kind of problem, and it's a very specific program. It's not only regarding the incorporation or the legal part. That, of course, should be a lawyer to help you, because it enters in a more specific area. But on the approach to investors, the ways to open doors for you to thrive with your idea is something that we try to help. Of course, we cannot help everyone, but at least we try. I think that is important to have that in mind. Miguel, do you have some experience from your own perspective?
Yeah. As a founder, I've seen that entrepreneurial programs and acceleration programs are better and better by the year. And that's something that you can actually experience. And as the ecosystem is maturing, we are seeing more and more founders exiting and participating in these moments, building startup studios and building and working with acceleration managers and the incubator network to provide these moments of learning from their mistakes, from their errors. And we are also seeing the other businesses, accountants, lawyers turning up to the ecosystem, seeing it as a market in expansion and helping the sector grow. So yeah, we haven't used dedicated accountants because we have a really good accountant for our specific goals, but we are starting to see accountant offices and legal offices not completely dedicated, but with teams completely dedicated to startups and for pushing startups into the market. And I think that we will start to see these more and more, not only in these areas, but in the other sectors of the economy, bringing and helping probably to grow the number of startups.
Well, thank you very much. I think we have reached our limit of time. I would like to invite you all to see the report next week. We'll be presenting the report at Web Summit on the last day on the Startup Portugal stand. So I don't have the time yet, but closer to the event that we will be sharing in our social media. So follow us on social media to find the report next week, and I hope to have you in the moment watching. So I think I have to ask Madalena to finish up in Porto.
Okay, so thank you very much, and a round of applause for this amazing panel discussion. And back to you, João.
We were closing, but just before that, let me introduce you to Francisca Sampaio, our one-stop shop manager. We were just talking about that. So Francisca, tell us in 30 seconds what is one-stop shop.
Hi, I'm Francisca. I'm one-stop shop program manager. Can you all hear me? Yeah, in Porto? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I invite you just to drop by our one-stop shop form in the website, startupportugal.com. I'm happy anytime to meet online or in person to present an overall view of the opportunities in Portugal. So I'm happy to answer to the question that was in the panel. The form itself you can already receive some information. And so just drop a message. I'm available anytime, okay? Thank you, João.
Thank you so much, Francisca.
And now, just going down.
To finish this up, let me just thank our amazing sponsors for making this possible. I will invite you to applause anytime I mention them. So first up, Investors Portugal, round of applause for them. Now, this place, Ferroviário, 351 Portuguese Startup Community, UPTech over in Porto. Come on, come on, come on, bring it up. The Porto City Council, Sograp, and the Superboc Group. It was a pleasure to have you here this evening. Let's have some drinks and drop by our stand at Web Summit in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.